All right. Oh my goodness, it is so exciting to have such a full house. Welcome everyone to the closing performance of Director's Cut. My name is Andrew Roblyer. I am a director and producer based out of Houston, Texas, and it is such a joy to be here at my first KC Fringe. Thank you so much. Before we dive into the show tonight and I explain a little bit more about what we're doing, I want to take care of two pieces of business. And the first one is to let the three incredible actors who have volunteered to be here tonight, having no clue what scene they're about to do, introduce themselves. So we will start over here, and if you just want to introduce yourself to the audience, that would be great.
Hello, I am Sapphire Engel.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Matt Donovan.
Hi, I'm Allison Bowlin.
Allison brought her own cheering section. All right, so as mentioned in the marketing for this show, you get to help us decide what scene we are doing tonight. Now, tonight's scenes are all dramas, which means that we're going to get to dive into some really emotional depths of these characters today, right here in front of your eyes. So to help you decide which three scenes we're going to see, I'm not going to tell you what the scenes are, but I am going to give you three descriptive words about each of them. And then we're going to vote by sound of applause. Make sense? All right. Yeah, great. Voting already. Love it. All right, so option one, the three words are defiance, doctrine, and division. Option two, power, leverage, and reckoning. And option three, estrangement, tension, and repair. All right, so by sound of applause, who would like to see scene number one tonight? All right, great. What about scene number two? And scene number three? All right. Sounds like scene number two is our clear winner. Now, I will say that I gave the actors a note before we started. Because these scenes have some heavier material, they do have the opportunity to call pause and ask us to pick a different scene, just to make sure that no one's being asked to do anything that they are super uncomfortable with. But we're going to give them a minute to read the scene while you and I chat. So I'm going to ask you to read Tina, you read Nat, you read Gus. So if you all want to head off backstage, you can take a minute to look over the scene while the audience and I have a little chat. All right, so I want to tell you a little bit more about this show and why this show. I fell in love with theater at the age of 6. I got cast in the church Christmas musical called Journey to the Center of Christmas. I was the only adult character in the play and also the shortest child on stage. The character's name was Professor J. Engel Bell, if anyone's wondering. And that started a love affair with theater. For the rest of my childhood, everything revolved around my love of performing. I used to get this ache in my soul if it had been too long between shows. And then in college, I had the opportunity to fall in love with theater all over again when I discovered directing. Now, I moved into directing not because I wanted control, but because I realized that I was deeply passionate about being in a position in a production to be able to support all of the other artists that were involved in the creation of something beautiful. So when I fall in love with something, my nerdy type A brain loves to learn everything I can about it. And that's when I quickly realized that there is no clear path for directors in the American theater. There's no clear training, no map. Most directors learn to direct by doing it and hoping that we don't break something or someone along the way. Because here's the thing, a director sets the emotional tone for a production. In the corporate world, studies show that your manager is the #1 factor in whether people thrive or burn out, and it's no different in theater. The director is the culture setter, the emotional thermostat, the person who decides what matters. But most directors, especially in what I would call upstream theater, community and educational theater spaces, are just thrown into the deep end. At a low estimate, there are 30,000 directors working in those spaces every year throughout this country with no training, no mentors, and no support, just vibes. And the weight that is placed on our shoulders is immense. We are told that our vision is what makes a show sink or swim. And on top of that, there's the implicit understanding that we are responsible for the training and development of the next generation of artists who will move from upstream to downstream, the professional and Broadway world. Because nobody gets their start there. They all start upstream. And then we wonder why theater spaces can be tense, toxic, and unclear. It's not because directors don't care. It's because the system never taught them how. That's why I built Deconstructing Directing, the name of the company that brings you this show tonight, a completely 100% free online resource library for directors. It explores topics that most directors I know never had the chance to talk to anyone about: facilitation skills, imposter syndrome, power dynamics, regulating our own emotions, and letting go of fear-based, authority-driven models of directing that have held our field hostage for way too long. It's a resource. I am proud to say that it is a resource unlike any other in existence for directors, and you can check it out yourself at the QR code I will give you at the end of today's show. Now, Director's Cut, the show you're here to see, is my attempt to put at least some of that work into a performance. I know the marketing makes this feel like a cool, edgy experiment, and it is, but it's also more than that. It's a window into something that theater very rarely shows, how at least part of directing actually works. And it's a love letter to every director who's ever been told to just figure it out. So tonight, I'll be building a scene from scratch, right in front of you. No prep, no second chances. You'll probably see me stumble, chase some moments, make some hard choices, deal with the clock. Not because I think I have all the answers, but because I believe that directing deserves to be visible, valued, shared. Because when we support directors, when we give them the tools and the space to grow, we create better theater, safer rooms, stronger stories, braver choices. And that makes theater better for all of us on stage and off. So you excited to see tonight's show? All right, you ready to come back up on stage? How are we feeling about the scene? We feel okay? Yeah? It's a heavy one. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to set up this table for us, because this is the one scene that we picked tonight that will need a table. Boom. All right. So let's grab chairs. You want to grab that stool from over there? We'll put that at the other side for us. Actually, let's swap seats on that one. All right, excellent. Y'all are welcome to stand or sit for this. You can put that on that side.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I just wasn't being clear. All right. You're welcome to stand or sit. What we're going to do first is we are going to do what we call often a table read. That's usually because we are seated around a table rather than up on our feet. And the table read is an opportunity for the actors to hear the text out loud for the first time. Not just the words that they're speaking, but the words that others are speaking. Because the reality is that in theater, text is spoken, right? Which means that it sounds different sometimes. It feels different when it's coming out of our mouths or into our ears instead of just through our eyeballs. It's also an opportunity for directors to hear the people that they've cast in that show for the first time as a whole unit and be able to make notes and to identify things that they want to work on with the cast to help shape the whole show. Now, a note about tonight. We are dealing with some heavy material because this is a dramatic scene. Because of that, I've given the actors a kind of safe word, if you will, a pause button. And I actually use the word button. I learned this from theatrical intimacy educators. Sometimes we as actors are trained to say yes or yes and, right? There's this fear that is often there in the power dynamics between a director and an actor, that if they don't agree to what the director is suggesting or wants, then the director will see them as difficult to work with, right? And so I've done the best that I can to reassure the actors before the show, and I'm sharing that with you now so that you know that if that happens during the show, if an actor calls button or asks to pause or stop for any reason, we're going to do that right away, and we'll address those concerns, and we may do that off stage, again, depending on what this work brings up tonight. All right. The other thing that I want to mention is that if at any point anyone in the audience needs to take a break, you are welcome to step out. There is no shame in that. Again, just a little bit of heavy material that we're working with tonight, and we're going to be diving into it pretty deeply because we're going to be working on it in front of you and building this scene. All right, so with that, we are going to hear for the first time the scene or the short play AJAX by Alexander Lee-Rekers. So I'm going to have you all go ahead and read this. I'll read the stage directions for you. Nat and Tina sit in the corner booth of a coffee shop. Nat keeps looking over her shoulder at the people walking in. Tina reaches a hand across the table to calm her.
You can stop checking over your shoulder. I'll tell you when he gets here. I'll be able to tell. Always can. Whenever he walks in a room, he's got a way to his step that's particular. Just remember that we hold the cards. I'm trying. Gus is a lot of things. And while he's fucking stupid, he's not exactly an idiot. We'll deal. I know my husband, Tina. It's going to work out.
Tina tenses up as Gus enters the cafe. Nat doesn't turn around, but she feels every one of his particular steps as he walks to the booth and takes a seat next to his wife.
Evening, Gus.
Tina, Nat,
Glad you can make it.
you shouldn't have waited to order. I'm not staying long.
We didn't wait, we didn't order.
Good, then where is it?
Where's the money?
Where's AJAX?
Where's Nat's money, Gus? We're not playing games with you. You want to see AJAX alive again? You bring your wife what she's owed, and then you let her go.
Gus sighs again. He takes his time, he takes up space. It has an effect on Nat, and he knows it.
Why doesn't Nat say anything?
Sounds like a question for her.
She's not talking, are you? You know your bestie here, she's using you, right? She knows you wouldn't pull this shit on your own steam. She knows you wouldn't try it on for a split second.
Don't talk to her like that.
I thought you were going to be done. I thought you were done being controlled.
I just want my money, Gus.
Where the fuck is my dog?
He's close.
Do better.
It's the best you'll get.
And he's okay?
He's fine.
What are you feeding him? He's got certain things he can't be eating.
Man, fuck your dog.
You do know if he's harmed or worse, you'll get nothing from me. And there'll be nothing left to protect you.
Tina glances at Nat. Gus sighs. He slaps his thighs in a gesture of it, so be it, and stands.
AJAX is innocent in all this. He shouldn't suffer because we can't make it work.
Sit down.
Why?
Because I'll kill AJAX myself. You'll get him back in pieces, in doggy bags.
Gus sits.
He reminds me of you, Gus. AJAX. You both sleep so deep and peaceful. I remember nights in our bed. I'd look at you, still shaking from the fight we'd had. And after it all, you'd be dead to the world. Not a movement. Not even a sound. One night, I took your pistol and I held it to you, trained on your head. I told myself if you snored or you stirred, I'd fire. I failed at that. I reckon I won't with AJAX.
Gus stands back up.
Bring it here and it back if you don't mind giving up. She'll count it. And if it's correct, we'll walk out. See you in half an hour, Gus. Or not.
He leaves without a word, without a sign. End scene. All right. Yeah. All right. So when we're working with material like this, one of the things that I see as my job as a director is to help us all as a company understand why we're telling this story, right? Because it's not enough to just say like, oh, it's heavy, it's emotional, you know, there's meaty stuff here for us to play with, right? We're taking ourselves and the audience on a really emotional journey, and we want to make sure we understand why we're doing that, right? So what's the truth in this story? What's the thing that, like, when we read this story that we see that makes this story worth telling to y'all? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious to hear your answers after reading it.
I think that this happens.
Okay.
This has happened or will happen. Something similar to it. Relationships like this unfortunately exist.
Yeah. Okay. So there's something about like holding a mirror up to reality. Yeah, great. What else? Any other thoughts?
I had a very similar feeling to Allison, actually, is that it's a highly emotionally charged scene around a fairly innocuous, not innocuous, but, something very common, just a relational split up, dividing, who gets the pet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any idea what's all around the context, but...
We're going to talk about that, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the extreme of this kind of situation, but it definitely doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, and it's very evocative the way it's being told.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, evocative. I think one of the things that stands out for me is Nat claiming some agency here. I think to me that that's kind of the final thing, right? We see you not talk for the majority of the first page of this scene once Gus shows up, right? And then when you do talk at the end, it's a lot, right? It's very intense. There's a lot of violent language that's used and violent imagery that's used. But I think there's also something about, because he kind of challenges you for that during the scene. He's like, what, she not gonna talk, right? And then you claim that agency, you claim that power. And I think that to me, at least, when I initially chose this scene as a possibility for tonight, that was kind of what drew me to it, was that we get to see a woman who is often the one on the receiving end of these abuses and these types of relationships, kind of be able to stand up on her own 2 feet a little bit, right? And be able to give as much as she's getting, in a sense, from this guy. Does that resonate with y'all as well? Okay. The reason I want to bring that up, and the reason why I would do this in a rehearsal environment, is because it gives us a sense of what we're building to emotionally within the scene, right? So that's part of my job, is to help the actors who are going to, over the course of the next 45 minutes that we're working together, they are going to become the experts of their characters, right? They're going to become kind of the people that are living in the choices that their characters are making. But that also means that they don't have the ability to be able to step back and look at the whole picture, right? And the director does. And so I become, as a director, not only a steward for the story, but a steward for the actors as well, to make sure that the choices that we're making as a collective are marching us toward this common goal that we've identified at the start of the process. It's one of the reasons why I don't like thinking about the directorial vision. I don't like using that word anymore. Sometimes I'll call it my initial vision, but my goal is that we have a collective vision now, right? Now, some of that is from the pieces that you brought to the table, some of that is from what I brought to the table, but now we're all working toward the same goal. So it's no longer about you meeting my vision directorially, but now us working together to bring our vision into reality, right? So that's what we're gonna do next. So now we're going to move into a section called table work. And this is, these are questions that we ask, times that we kind of get to dig into the text, see what's in the text, what's not in the text, and what's going to help us find specificity in the story that we're telling. Now the thing about specificity is you get to see this work tonight, but a lot of what we're about to talk about in these next few minutes, you as an audience would never actually see. You would never actually hear the answers to these. It doesn't come out in the text of the scene. But I want you to think about what you saw when you saw this reading, and as we work, I want you to notice the differences and the nuances that the actors are able to bring to the performance once we find that specificity for them, okay? So, we're gonna talk about the big one first, just to get it out of the way, all right? So, Gus and Nat, how long have you been married, do you think? There's no right or wrong answer to this.
3 years?
I was thinking the same thing.
Whoa.
Great, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so 3 years. And do you think, was this a quick dating, engaged, married kind of thing? Or were you dating for a while? Have you known each other prior to that? What do you think? Knowing something about how the relationship ended, what does that tell you, if anything, about its beginning? Again, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm not digging for a particular choice here.
I think these people definitely know each other.
Okay.
Context clues being, I literally say I know my husband, but
Okay.
I know his walk. I know the way a room changes whenever he walks into a room. And I feel like we definitely know each other. And so it's something that could have been good gone sour.
Yeah. I wonder, based on what you just said, and based on some context clues, and this is a wondering that I will offer, and you can agree or disagree with it. I wonder if this is not the first time she's tried to leave him. Right? We know that, like, historically in a lot of these relationships, abuse is a cycle, right? Like the honeymoon phase, right, of the abuse cycle, is there for a reason. It's to kind of keep hold of the person that's being abused, right? So I wonder if this is the first time that we've gotten this far in the leaving process. But that brings me to the question about Tina, which is, how long has Tina known that? What do you think?
Initially, when reading it, I definitely feel like it's been like a long friendship, like probably since childhood.
I love that choice. I think that that's a really important and helpful choice for this moment, because it positions your relationship as stronger in a sense than their relationship, right? And we see that reflected in the text. So I think that that's really helpful. We're going to come back to that in just a minute, because I have a follow-up question that I think will help with some moments here. And this is going to be a hard question, so it's okay if you don't want to answer it out loud. What was the inciting incident for this departure? Do you think? And I'm going to ask you to think about that. I'm going to ask you to think about that. And you don't have to answer out loud. You don't even have to agree with each other, right? Like, it can be two different stories that you're telling yourselves, right? Because that's how it works in reality sometimes, right? That we perceive situations differently. So, in fact, I'm going to say don't say that out loud. But I'm going to ask you to decide in your own mind what prompted it for you, and what do you think prompted it this time around. Right? So don't say it out loud, but just make a choice for yourself. The reason that I'm asking you to make this choice is because the first time you see him, when he walks in, the first time you see her, I want to encourage you to let that memory pop into your head. Right? And because that specificity is going to give you weight to the act of seeing each other for the first time. And remember, if at any point we need to back off, we say button, right? And we will do some de-rolling at the end of this, just so you know. So we'll get to shake off the emotion a little bit. All right. Gus, you have been given an ultimatum. That's why you're here, right? Why don't you bring the money?
I don't think Gus is taking this seriously. I think that Gus also doesn't have the money, but is not going to let on, because he's ashamed of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's really helpful. What would you say is like? I have a thought in my head. You don't have to. I'm not asking you to read my mind. I want to hear from you. What do you think is like Gus's primary sin, if you will? If you think about the 7 deadly sins, like, what is his like primary flaw that got things to this point?
I'm trying to remember the 7 deadly
Oh,
sins.
you don't have to remember from that list. It can be anything, but I just give that as an example. Like, I think about like pride, anger, right? Like.
Yeah, I think hubris, like pride, was the first thing that came to mind.
Great. Right,
just like narcissism, kind of like I'm the center of everything.
Great. Yeah, I think that's going to help you in this scene. It's not always a fun place to go as an actor, but I think that it will help you to like come in with that mentality of like, this is about me.
Yeah.
Right. First and foremost, every part of this conversation is about you. And then I'm going to invite you to, as we play through this scene in just a minute, and we work through these beats, be thinking about how that determines your reactions to the fact that they aren't letting it be about you, right? That they aren't focusing on you, and what does that cause you to do in response?
Okay.
All right. So I think that's a good starting point. We're going to come back to that question I mentioned about Tina and Nat once we start working on the scene. Okay. So let's restage this just slightly, because I realized that I was mistaken. So I'm going to give you this chair because so that you're all on the same level, and I will take the stool. So I actually need the other chair over here because we need Matt to have your back to the door based on the text. So you're going to sit in one of these chairs, and then your friend's going to sit opposite you looking at the door, and then you'll come in and sit next to Matt. Now, to help with the audience view of this, so this is another thing that we think about directorially, right? Our job is to be kind of the audience surrogate, if you will, during a production process. So I know that if we leave the table exactly like this, it's going to be potentially hard for this conversation to happen, especially with him looking upstage at his wife and you all still being able to see his face. So what I'm going to suggest is actually that we angle the table slightly, like this, exactly, and then exactly, Sapphire, you're just going to scoot down and do what we call cheating out, which is where she's going to, instead of sitting directly this way, she's going to sit a little bit at an angle. So now the scene is much more open to the audience. This is one of the things we have to think about as directors when we stage the scene. All right, so while we start in this first section, I'm going to invite you to take a second off stage and think about what is a particular walk. Okay. Right? Whatever that means to you. All right, I'm actually going to come over to this side of the stage, which I haven't done all week, but it just gives me more space to play. All right, so what is how long have you been
At the restaurant?
at the restaurant? You tell him you didn't wait, but that may or may not be true.
We wait long enough that we know he should be here, so maybe 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
30 to 45, yeah.
That also seems like, based on what Matt was saying about Gus's kind of self-centeredness, that kind of makes sense that he would keep you waiting. Okay. Great. So 30 minutes. So what has the conversation been about up to this point, do you think?
Part of me feels like it could just be Tina talking to her, being like, don't think about what we're about to do, because she's probably overthinking it in her head, so I probably want to like alleviate some of those worries as much as I can, and I would use distraction, I think.
Great. So let's, what do we think you said right before you say you can stop checking over your shoulder? Like, what's the part of the conversation that's been happening right there?
I feel like it was probably something funny about the people I work with, like probably complaining, and then I like noticed she's not listening to me.
Great, cool. So I wonder what it looks like if we start the scene with you kind of laughing at your own joke about that story, right? And then you notice that she's not paying attention, right? That gives you the ability to kind of look over your shoulder, and that then, so we're not starting with the line, we're starting kind of before the line and then motivating the line based on what you see from her behavior, okay? Cool. Let's try it from the top.
You can stop checking over your shoulder.
Watch your volume, Sapphire, if you'll speak up for me just a little bit.
I'll tell you when he gets here.
I'll be able to tell. Always can. Whenever he walks in a room, he's got a way to his step that's particular.
Cool, pause right there for me, Nat. So I'll be able to tell is an interesting line, right? Are you arguing with her with that line? What do you think? Why say those words? What is it about that line there?
I think it's not necessarily, it's not an argument.
Yep, I agree.
It's more like, I think Nat is, I am still internal.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you said, I'll tell you when you're here, and it's like, I'm checking for literally no reason other than I'm scared.
That's it. Do you feel that in your body right there? Do you feel that energy? I'm checking. I'll be able to tell.
Yeah.
Right? Let's find that energy with that line, and then see how that carries you through the rest of the line.
Okay.
Right? I don't think you like the fact that you can always tell. That's not a good thing, right? If you've been listening for his footsteps to know when he's coming, right? That's a sign of problems, right? So in that moment, I think finding that frustration that you just demonstrated is going to be really powerful. Can we go? You can stop checking over your shoulder again.
You can stop checking over your shoulder. I'll tell you when he gets here.
I'll be able to tell, always can. Whenever he walks in a room, he's got a way to his step that's particular.
Just remember, we hold the cards.
I'm trying.
Great. So this is the moment that I mentioned that question was going to come up. What are some reassuring gestures that maybe have been developed between the two of you over your friendship? When you need to comfort each other, is there anything that you do, physically? Like I think about like some people like grab hands, some people will, kind of like, do a handshake or some sort of like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What do you think? What's something that maybe is like something that you do for each other when you're comforting one another?
Well, at the beginning of the scene, she reaches a hand across the table to calm her, so I feel like it could be something like that.
Okay, let's see what that looks like. So can we go from, he's got a way to a step that's particular, and on that, somewhere in the next couple of lines, wherever you feel the impulse, Sapphire, would you reach and grab her hand?
Yeah.
Cool. So he's got a way to a step.
He's got a way to his step that's particular.
Just remember that we hold the cards.
I'm trying.
Gus is a lot of things, and while he's fucking stupid, he's not exactly an idiot. He'll deal.
I know my husband, Tina.
It's going to work out.
Great, let's pause there. All right, so now we need Gus's entrance. So Gus, can you actually start your entrance after I know my husband, Tina? So that we start hearing your feet on the stairs at that point. Thank you, disembodied hand. All right. This is also something that I think about directorially whenever I'm working with heavy material. Finding the moments of levity, maybe not always in the scene, but finding the levity in the room is really valuable, right? And that instinct to laugh at those moments is really powerful because it connects us with each other and with each other, but two, it also helps us kind of shake off some of that emotion that we carry. Because one of the things that I'll mention real quick is it's important to recognize that our body can't tell the difference between real emotion and fake emotion, right? When we put ourselves in these states as actors, like we are activating neurotransmitters and psychological and physiological responses in our bodies that are very real. And so that's part of the work that we need to do as directors, and that's one of the reasons that training is so important, is because it allows us to be able to recognize those things and build those skills. All right, so let's go from I know my husband, Tina, please.
I know my husband, Tina.
Go ahead and start, Matt.
It's going to work out.
Great. Wait for him to sit down.
Tina?
Nope, not yet. She's got to say evening, Gus, first.
Sorry about that.
Evening, Gus.
Tina? Nat?
Nice.
Glad you could make it.
Well, you shouldn't have waited to order. I'm not going to stay very long.
We didn't wait, we didn't order.
Good. Then where is he?
Where's the money?
Where's AJAX?
Where is Nat's money, Gus? We're not playing games with you. You want to see AJAX alive again, you bring your wife what she's owed.
Cool, I'm going to pause you here. I am seeing an impulse in your shoulders to get closer to him, to like lean in.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens if you follow that impulse.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're playing the negotiator for her,
Yeah.
right? You're playing hardball with him. So follow that impulse in your shoulders to let yourself like lean into the table. I know you're cheated out a little bit. It's okay if you need to like face him directly for this. So let's go back a little bit. Let's go from your line, Tina. We didn't wait, we didn't order.
We didn't wait, we didn't order.
Good. Then where is he?
Where's the money?
Where's AJAX?
Where is Nat's money, Gus? We're not playing games with you. You want to see AJAX alive again? You bring your wife what she's owed, and then you let her go.
Why isn't Nat saying anything?
Sounds like a question for her.
Yeah, she's not talking. Are you? You know, your bestie here She's using you, right? She knows you wouldn't pull this shit on your own steam. She knows you wouldn't try it on for a split second.
Don't talk to her like that.
Cool. Let's pause there. Tina, I want to invite you to like jump on that don't
Okay.
tell, right?
Yeah.
Like don't even wait for him to finish the line. I think when you hear the word split, jump on that line.
Okay.
It'll overlap with his final word in his line, but like you're on the defense for her.
Yeah.
There's not going to be air between his response and your defense, I think, right? Okay, so let's go back just a little bit. There's this section in the script, and this is something we have to navigate as directors, where stage directions, right, in the olden days, used to be a description of the first performance, right, what the director did in the first performance. But nowadays, playwrights tend to write their stage directions in very intentionally. That being said, the general rule of thumb, unless it very clearly says otherwise in a text, is that there's some understanding that the exact situation or the exact staging may not allow for those stage directions to follow precisely. That being said, there's something about this stage direction that is hitting with me. It says, Gus sighs again. He takes time, he takes up space. It has an effect on Nat and he knows it. I wonder if this sigh is not like a sigh. I wonder if it is a performance.
Okay.
I wonder if it is a weapon,
All right.
right? I wonder if this is the sigh that preceded some of the behavior that led us to this point.
Okay.
So let's go again from Tina's line, we're not playing games with you. You want to see AJAX alive again.
We're not playing games with you. You want to see AJAX alive again, you bring your wife what she's owed, and then you let her go.
Nice.
Why doesn't that say anything?
Sounds like a question for her.
She's not talking, are you? You know you're best to hear she's using you, right? She knows you wouldn't pull this shit on your own steam. She knows you wouldn't try that on for a split second.
Don't talk to her like that.
I thought you were done being controlled.
I just want my money, Gus.
Where the fuck is my dog?
Cool. Let's pause right there. This is the first time you're talking to him, right? Like this is you breaking the silence, right? So it's okay. You're doing great. You're doing great. I know it feels icky, right? I totally understand that. What I want to applaud you for is staying in it and letting us see the reaction that you have of him, right? It's really beautiful work, Allison. So hang in there with it, okay? So let's get specific about the money. You say, I want my money, right? Is this money he took from you? Like, was this money that you had earned and he absconded with in some way, or he kept you from having access to?
I feel like this is like we're fairly deep into the separation, and we're fairly like we are divorced.
Yes, you want
essentially.
half the assets.
And I think it's not even half the assets. I want the money I had when we got married.
Great. Love that.
Yeah.
So I think the word "my" is really important in that line then, right? It's not the fact that it's money, it's the fact that it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that you brought it into this relationship and you want it when you're coming out of the relationship. So the reason I bring that up is because this is your silence-breaking line. This is the thing that is a big enough deal to you that you are willing to confront him for it, right? So as he says, I thought you were done being controlled, I want to invite you to not feel like you have to respond right away, take a moment to make the decision that this is important enough to turn to him and say it to his face, right? Remember, because this is about you finding that agency. So let's see what happens if you take the first step into that agency with this line. Cool? Let's back that up. Can we go from she's not talking, Gus, and a thought for you on this line. We may not keep it this way. Can you make it harder? Can you dig the knife in a little bit more with that line?
Sure.
Like, try and hurt her with that line.
Okay.
And I may pull you back, but let's see what that feels like.
Okay.
Okay. So from she's not talking.
She's not talking. Are ya? You know, your bestie here, she's using you, right? She knows you wouldn't pull this shit on your own steam. She knows you wouldn't try it on for a second.
Don't talk to her like that.
I thought you were done being controlled.
I just want my money, Gus.
Cool, let's pause there. How did that feel?
Not quite right, but close.
Yeah. We're gonna run it again. So, but how did you felt the difference, right? Yeah, like it is a potent moment that you just created, and we're gonna dial it in a little bit more, but we're gonna get there. I wonder, Matt. I know it doesn't feel great to say it like that, but that gives her something to play off of,
Yeah.
right? I wonder if you try and close the distance between the two of you, if you try and like get in her space a little bit with that line. Don't close it too much, but just like enough to make it clear that like don't mess with me.
Yeah.
Can I consent?
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna touch. We're not gonna make any contact.
Yeah.
But yeah, just menace it a little bit.
All right.
Let's do that same section one more time. She's not talking, please.
She's not talking. Are you, Nat? You know, your bestie here, she's using you, right? She knows you wouldn't pull the shit on your own steam. She knows you wouldn't try that on. Not for a split
Don't
second.
talk to her like that.
You know, I thought you were done being controlled.
I just want my money, Gus.
Keep going.
Where the fuck is my dog?
He's close.
Do better.
It's the best you'll get.
And he's okay?
He's fine.
What are you feeding him? You know, he's got certain things he can't be eating.
Let's pause here for a moment. So now we have going back to Tino, right? So I think Tino sees you make that stand. My thought, and you can tell me if you disagree, my thought is that she's not going to jump back in for Nat until she knows that Nat's checked out again for a minute.
Okay.
So I wonder if where the fuck is my dog is you turn away on that line, right? Like you're trying to go toe to toe with him, he comes back at you with where the fuck is my dog, and that's too much for you right now. And so you pull back, head away, and that triggers you to then step back in for her, right? Kind of like, playing tag in, right? Because then now we're building to your explosion. We're building to your like stand at the end, right? So him coming at you with where the fuck is your dog is the beginning of the internal build that gets you to that final line. Cool? All right. Can we go from where the fuck is my dog?
So where the fuck is my dog?
He's close.
Do better.
It's the best you'll get.
And he's okay?
He's fine.
What are you feeding him? He's got certain things he can't be eating.
Man, fuck your dog.
You do know if he's harmed or worse, you'll get nothing from me. And then there'll be nothing left to protect you. AJAX is innocent in all this. He shouldn't have to suffer because we can't make it work.
Cool. So we have a stage or a line that tells you to sit, so we got to have you sit.
Yeah.
So I wonder what happens if this is you getting up to go, and then you turn around to dig one more time with AJAX as innocent. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah, what
and there will
would
be
you-
nothing left to protect you. All right, fine. They're not playing ball. Stand up. You start to go, and then you turn back for that line about AJAX.
Can I suggest
Yeah,
another
please.
thing?
Yeah.
I feel like kind of standing on where the fuck is my dog.
Let's do it.
Can I try that?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay.
Can we go from I just want my money, Gus, then, please, so that he can get into that one. Thank you for speaking that into this.
I just want my money, Gus.
I'm sorry, I'm totally lost.
It's okay. They were just going on the
Oh, that's the
the
very
line
bottom
the
line.
cue
All right.
line
Yeah.
for where the fuck is my dog. You're good. No worries. One more time. Great practice.
I just want my money, Gus.
Well, where the fuck's my dog?
He's close.
Do better.
It's the best you'll get.
Cool. I wonder, Sapphire, if Tina would stand to meet him to match his energy. How do you
Okay,
feel
yeah.
about that?
I was debating it because I was like, it's kind of a power thing for me sitting, but I think I would actually stand. Now that I just had the thought, just because I feel like it's not really. I don't think I care about having the power as much as I care about protecting her.
Bingo. That's exactly it. I totally agree that like it needs to be an intentional stand, not a reactive stand.
Yeah.
Right? It's not him standing and you going, whoa, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it is like him standing and then you coming, you standing to match it and being like, you're gonna do this shit, I'm gonna do this shit.
Yeah.
Right? Come to defense of her. Cool, let's do that section one more time.
I just want my money, Gus.
So where the fuck's my dog?
He's close.
Do better.
It's the best you'll get.
Well, is he okay?
He's fine.
Well, what are you feeding him? There's certain things he can't be eating.
Man, fuck your dog.
You do know if he's harmed or worse, you'll get nothing from me and there'll be nothing left to protect you. AJAX. Oh, sorry.
It's okay, yeah, you gotta stay standing just a little bit longer. Do you feel, I get the impression that we don't feel an impulse to leave yet. Is that fair to say?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Let's
That's
keep
true
you
enough.
here. So let's ignore that stage direction for a moment and just go straight into that line, AJAX. So treat those two lines as one line.
Okay.
And there will be nothing left to protect you. AJAX is innocent in all this.
All right.
Go straight into that.
You do know if he's harmed or worse, you'll get nothing from me and there'll be nothing left to protect you. AJAX is innocent in all this. You shouldn't have to suffer because we can't make it work.
Sit down.
Why?
Because I'll kill AJAX myself. You'll get him in pieces.
Cool.
In doggy bags.
Let's pause here because I think there's a stand for you here. Right?
Oh my god.
So I wonder, Sapphire, there's this line from Tina, man, fuck your dog, that's very dismissive.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you sit on that line. I wonder if at that point you're like, bitch, go away.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if that's dismissive. So that then you're seated, and then on that sit down, right? I think sit down, you're seated, but then because I'll kill AJAX myself, stand and say it to his face. And see if you feel the impulse to sit, right? Which you may not, but like, let's see if she can if she's serious enough about this. I think you might sit.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go same place. You do know if he's harmed or worse.
You do know if he's harmed or worse, you'll get nothing from me and there'll be nothing left to protect you. AJAX is innocent in all this. He shouldn't have to suffer because we can't make it work.
Sit down.
Why?
Because I'll kill AJAX myself. You'll get him in pieces. In doggy bags.
Great.
He reminds me of you, Gus. AJAX. You both sleep so deep and peaceful. I remember nights in our bed, I'd look at you, still shaking from the fight we'd had. And after it all, you'd be dead to the world. Not a movement. Not even a sound. One night, I took your pistol and I held it to you, trained on your head. I told myself if you snored, if you stirred, I'd fire. I failed at that. I reckon I won't with AJAX.
Cool. Let's pause there. How'd that feel? I know it's tough. It's tough. I'm gonna give you an opportunity. You do not have to take it.
Yeah.
One night I took your pistol and I held it to you, trained on your head.
Okay.
And keep it trained on his head. If you're gonna do that, keep it trained on his head until I fail at that.
Okay.
And then I think then Tina, I think Gus not standing here makes sense, even though the stage directions have him stand. So I think then you jump in, right, with bring it back,
Yeah.
right? See you in half an hour, Gus, or not, and then I think you can stand up and leave after that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's try that section one more time, and then we're gonna run the whole scene. All right, can we go from, he reminds you you, Gus, after you've sat down.
He reminds me of you, Gus?
Yes.
He reminds me of you, Gus. AJAX. You both sleep so deep and peaceful. I remember nights in our bed, I'd look at you, still shaking from the fight we'd had. And after it all, you'd be dead to the world. Not a movement, not even a sound. One night, I took your pistol and I held it to you. I trained it on your head. I told myself if you snored or stirred, I'd fire. I failed at that. I reckon I won't with AJAX.
Bring it here in a bag you don't mind giving up. She'll count it. If it's correct, we'll walk out.
See you in half an hour, Gus. Or not.
Much stronger, you two leaving. Yes. Love that choice. Yes. High five, Sapphire. Yes. You stood up and I was like, no, that's the right answer. Yes. Absolutely, you two leave him there. Absolutely. All right. How we feeling? We ready to give it a go? All right. If you will exit the stage for me, Gus. Presenting the final presentation tonight of AJAX by Alexander Lee-Rekers. Take it away.
You can stop checking over your shoulder. I'll tell you when he gets here.
I'll be able to tell. Always can when he walks in a room. He's got a way to his step that's particular.
Just remember that we hold the cards.
I'm trying.
Gus is a lot of things, and while he's fucking stupid, he's not exactly an idiot. He'll deal.
I know my husband, Tina.
It's going to work out. Evening, Gus.
Tina. Nat.
Glad you could make it.
You shouldn't have waited to order. I'm not going to stay very long.
We didn't wait, we didn't order.
Good. Then where is he?
Where's the money?
Where's AJAX?
Where's Nat's money, Gus? We're not playing games with you. You want to see AJAX alive again? You bring your wife what she's owed, and then you let her go.
Why doesn't Nat say anything?
Sounds like a question for her.
She's not talking. Arya, you know your little bestie over here? She's using you, right? You know she knows you wouldn't pull this shit on your own. She knows you wouldn't try that, not for a second.
Don't talk to her like that.
I thought you were done being controlled, huh?
I just want my money, Gus.
Where the fuck's my dog?
He's close.
Do better.
It's the best you'll get.
And he's okay?
He's fine.
Well, what are you feeding him? He's got certain things he can't be eating.
Man, fuck your dog.
You do know if he's harmed or worse, you'll get nothing from me, and there'll be nothing left to protect you. You know, AJAX is innocent in all this. He shouldn't have to suffer because we can't make it work.
Sit down.
Why?
Because I'll kill AJAX myself. You'll get him in pieces, in doggy bags. He reminds me of you, Gus. AJAX. You both sleep so deep and peaceful. I remember nights in our bed. I'd look at you, still shaking from the fight we'd had. And after it all, you'd be dead to the world. Not a movement, not even a sound. One night, I took your pistol and I held it to you. Trained on your head. I told myself if you snored or you stirred, I'd fire. I failed at that. I reckon I won't with AJAX.
Bring it here in a bag you don't mind giving up. She'll count it, and if it's correct, we'll walk out.
See you in half an hour, Gus. Or not.
And scene. Come on out, ring a bell, all three of you. Hello there. Thank you so much for watching Director's Cut. I hope you enjoyed it. And if this glimpse into the directing process sparked something for you, whether you're a theater maker, educator, or just someone who loves live performance, there is so much more where this came from. Because this isn't just a show, it's part of a much bigger movement that is rethinking what it means to direct theater and how we train, support, and value directors, especially in schools and community theaters, but throughout the industry. You can explore a growing library of free resources at deconstructingdirecting.com, designed especially for directors in those upstream spaces like schools and community theaters, both for themselves and to use as part of their directing curriculum. 100% free. And if you're part of a theater, school, or university that wants to rethink how you train directors, I also offer consulting, custom workshops, and can bring Director's Cut to you, performed with your actors for your audiences. We can package that with workshops on directing, acting, or producing, whatever fits your needs. And if you believe in this kind of work and want to help keep it going, consider supporting Deconstructing Directing on Patreon. Even a few bucks a month makes a real difference. Links to everything I just mentioned are below in the description. Thank you again for being here. I want to transform our field for the better, but I can't do it alone. So until we see each other again, I challenge us all to be recklessly kind.